So I've currently got 3 bivy bags in ready to pose, so I thought I'd do a quick video on the slight variations you get on your bivy bags should you choose different variations. So they're all Ventile L24 uppers, and then the bases, lengths, zip patterns, and all that can be changed for whatever you want really. So this one on top, olive Ventile, and it's got the standard removable bug netting on the inside there in green, and to make the most of it, so you can use them in all seasons including non-bug season, all the bug netting is removable, which means you can swap them out, replace them nice and easy. You can add different colors, and more importantly, if you are by the fire and you get a hole in it, it means they're replaceable. So you can just sew in no seam versus, you know, different colors. You got the options there. So anyway, that's the bug netting. It's pretty self-explanatory. But more importantly, the main thing that you want with Ventile is because it's so breathable and comfortable, you can sleep with your body in the main portion and have this area here as a pillow, which for the most part is how I use my Ventile. It isn't fully waterproof like you would have Gore-Tex, but it is a lovely place to be. It's breathable, it's comfortable. So if you are in absolute downpours, being in a bivvy it's just a miserable place to be. So the best thing for this is where you have a bit of rain, it will definitely protect you from that, but it really comes into its own when you just don't know what's going to happen with the weather. You can sometimes, the bugs come in, you zip in the bug net, but most of the time, pillow on top, your body inside, gives you a bit of insulation, a bit of protection from wind, rain. That's where it really comes into it. I always put a really big zipper on there as well, with lots of double-ended zips, so you can vent the feet separately to the head and whatever you need to do really. You can just have your mats there. I really just want to leave it up to people, so it's the most flexible bivvy you can get. The way I figure it is that these are quite an expensive purchase, being Ventile, so if you can get the absolute most out of each one, it brings the cost down somewhat. It's not a one-trick pony. It is hopefully good enough and warm enough and comfortable enough that it can be used in tents, under tops, on its own, cowboy camping, you name it, whatever. It should be able to do that. One of the other features I also add is little loops, leather loops. Now with these leather loops, there's 6 on these at the moment. You can have more or less, it's up to you. But you can run a stick that goes through these to make a perfect little arch. So that allows easy venting of the bug netting, or you can just have it away from your face. It's a bit more tent-like. There's also a little tie-off down there as well, so you can have like a view in the morning, whatever you wish to do with it. Now, one of the differences, you can have these on different sides. So this is on the sort of foot end, which means it's nice and comfortable for the head end, so you can have a pillow and you're not lying on the leather. But obviously the netting is facing the wrong way to get a view in the morning. I prefer this method because you can almost like hide your head under, your bugs won't get through the Ventile, but you get enough venting, you don't get bothered by light, you don't get bothered by a bright moon or anything like that. But if you don't like that idea, like on this one, you can reverse it round. So it's basically from the head end for the loops, same 6 loops again, so you can run a stick through, but the loops are this way around, so when you run a stick through, the view is towards the foot end. You get a better view with this method, but you will sort of lie on these if you put a pillow on top of here and sleep with just your lower legs covered. Again, personal preference, whatever you want. Makes no difference to the cost or anything like that. Just personal preference, trying to give people what they want. Now, the the other difference is as well that I do different bases. So on this one, I've got beeswax by Hallie Stevens in P200, which means it works out at about 8.5 ounce or thereabouts. Very dry, a little bit tacky, but it's quite light. So you can pair that with something heavier underneath, which is a heavy dry wax, again by Hallie Stevenson. This is 14 ounce. I like this method the most because this is probably a little bit too light to be pushing onto stones or any particular hard surfaces. It will wear and you will definitely limit the life of your bivy. However, if you pair it with a really heavy base, what it means is that you can avoid a lot of the dirt that comes in and out of your camping equipment. So this goes into the dirt, this gets muddy, crapped up, worn out. But the bivy that you spent a fair bit of money on, pricing these at £400 at the moment, is protected. It's a bit heavier, obviously, because you're having 3 layers of fabrics instead of 2, but I prefer that. However, it obviously is more kit, it's more complicated, you know, so a lot of people don't want to do that. So alternatively, I also offer it with the base, excuse me, that is the same as the underlayer there. So that's a 14 ounce wax canvas, nice and dry, not too slippy, and it will tolerate quite a bit of abuse before it starts to wear. Again, with it being cotton, it's all patchable and repairable, so you'll get a long time out of it. Is one better than the other? I'd probably go with this one, just because it makes life easier keeping kit clean. But there's not a lot of difference in it. It's completely personal preferences. These are all the same prices. If you want an underlayer, I'll throw that in for free if you're going for the light fabrics, because they are slightly cheaper. But yeah, it's completely your choice. The other thing with these as well, if you are stuck in a real rainstorm, you can pitch that as a sort of pseudo small top. It's not so much that it will keep you dry, it's more the fact that life in a bivvy in sustained rain is miserable. They try and tell you with these small tunnel tents and such that if it's waterproof, you'll be fine, you'll have an enjoyable evening. It's just not true. It's that rain on your head, confined without being able to make a brew, without being able to move and stretch, is just not nice. It's horrible, in fact. Fine for a short time, couple of hours. Much beyond that, it starts to wear. So having a top with a bivy is always what I would suggest, even if it's an ultralight sil nylon or something like that, just to pair it up should you get in problematic weather. I think we've just about covered it there, really. I can also make the uppers in different fabrics rather than Ventile, so you can save a few quid by having a dry wax. Which functions better? It's really difficult to tell. I usually use the dry wax by Miller, which I find very, very good in the wet, actually. But I would say that the Ventile has a slight edge on breathability. Obviously, the money saved is quite nice because you're saving, I think it was around 50 quid there, just on that. But yeah, I think I've just about covered it. Thanks for watching.